had to say that in Africa, a lot of the ideas that Marcus Garvey had are part of the culture already. So I was saying, I was looking at
Mm-hmm.
all these communities in Africa. Maybe we have 1,000 divisions in every
Legacy.
country. So maybe
Yeah.
I think it was too much, but now we're starting to see a lot of people. We're starting to see a lot of people wake up to what we have in Africa as far as the Garveyites. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of them they're waking up and they're saying that they're independent of France, and they're creating their own flags, and they're trying to call the diaspora home. So we're trying to see if we get maybe at least 20 countries right now,
Uh-huh.
based on everybody following Marcus Garvey back home in Africa. So, and some of what he did was based on the Maroons and the African culture that he didn't know. So it matches up perfectly. And
Yes.
a lot of people are trying to go back home now because they see what's going on. But the Igbo are the ones that have come. They migrated and they're all over Jamaica. They're all over USA. So we're saying we can do some cultural synchronization. We can get on one page easier if we work together. And
Yeah.
yeah, so we can do face to face meetings and help people travel home and to Burkina Faso's popular Mali, Niger, which is right next to Nigeria. So we have they call it federations, where sometimes the Igbo have. I think the Igbo say they have 5 states, maybe 7. So
Uh-huh.
we've been calling the Namdi Azikiwe. We've been calling for United States of Africa for a long time. But sometimes,
Yeah.
a lot of times, the Igbo say the security is so bad, just let us go. The people who left Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they left because of the security issues and the Europeans and black people helping the Europeans. Um,
Yeah.
it's easier for them to leave, but the Igbos, we have to work with the diaspora, and just we have to use it. We have to call the Marcus Garvey meetings because nobody's going to understand if you're saying we all just have to split up and have security. You have to call a meeting, and Marcus Garvey has to be on the table so everybody trusts you. That's for the black race. So
Yeah.
The Igbo are starting to wake up because they see what's going on, how the other people handle their business, and Ibrahim Traore, they're starting to wake up. You have to understand a little about Marcus Garvey before saying you want to be independent, and
Right.
understand it has to be in the context of United Africa. So I'm helping the elders understand that, but you have all it takes. At least 20 countries are aiming to unite right now.
You
Ethiopia,
mean 20
yeah,
countries in the diaspora are
in
between the
Africa,
diaspora
in
and Africa?
in Africa, because you have the Sahel Alliance is part of the Atlantic Alliance, so it's 6 countries. Is Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, but also Chad, Mauritania, and the Kingdom of Morocco. They're working to give them access to the sea, the Atlantic Sea, to trade. So that's 6 countries. Then you have
Yeah.
the Mono River Union, which is 4 countries: Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, Liberia, which they have Igbo connections. We're trying to talk to them, and Guinea Conakry. So that's 4 countries plus the 6 I
Yeah.
mentioned. That's 10. And then
Yeah.
we think Senegal and Gambia can join, and they've been saying they want to work together. That's 2 more, so that's 12.
Mm-hmm.
The East African Federation, Somalia, DRC, Rwanda, Kenya, Uganda. I'm not sure. I think that's 7 countries. I think
Could
the
be.
East African Federation is 7 countries. So I think that's 7. That's 19. I think
Yeah.
I think that's 19, and then you have Ethiopia and Sudan and Nigeria.
It's not Namibia, ain't it?
Ethiopia and Sudan are right next door to Chad and Nigeria. So in Ethiopia is the African Union headquarters, so they kind of have to be participating. So
Yeah.
everybody gonna look at them crazy if they don't participate. And then Sudan is collapsed because of the Arabs and versus the black race. So some of them, we're talking to some of those communities, especially the Nubians. So it's like everybody's right next door to each other, and we're trying to see
True.
the Caribbean can help us big time.
Yeah.
Even if it's the
Yes.
village, even if the village, you know, it's the African Communities League. We're supposed to start at the village anyways. So that's what
Yeah. Same.
a lot of people been in the UNIA been arguing about it. They don't want to lose the power to the different villages because they want the prestige.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is in that you have more security in a sense that we would have more positively a positive organization moving forward.
hmm And
If
this
we
is
can
the
get the
thing.
UNIA on one page here in Jamaica moving forward instead of because you know there was a branch in America.
hmm
Otherwise, from what we farm out here in Jamaica. So them kind of sometimes pull a little away.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
I think you said they drifted apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed because because a lot of people, a lot of nowadays, some of us who are younger. I'm 35, about to be 35, but we learned how to use a computer really fast and to how to look up information, and we found out the numbers of the Caribbean. And
Yeah.
it starts to make sense why the Caribbean is getting attacked like it is and divided. Um,
Yes.
according to the numbers that they publish online, two islands are 75% of the Caribbean population. Two islands.
Yeah.
Do you know which ones they are? The
Is it
major-
Haiti and Jamaica?
Haiti and Cuba, two
Haiti
biggest,
and Cuba.
the ones that the
Yeah.
USA are always targeting, are
Yeah.
75% of the population.
Yeah.
It's Haiti, Dominican Republic as one island, and then Cuba. So we don't need. They don't even give us the accurate
Yeah.
we don't accurate black population of Cuba. That we don't know, but we know a lot of them are Haitians and they practice African secret societies and they're private.
Right.
A lot of the blacks there still have the African traditional government and they're private and they're trying to unite with it. So it's the majority, basically the majority of the Caribbean has some maroon hidden African culture where they're private.
Yeah.
They don't need a president. They don't need any political party to get business done. So
The thing is that even though they might say they don't need that, I think
mhm.
they need something else. Some
so
about their
yeah, it needs
supposed to
some
because
structure.
yes, yes,
They
that
need
is
some
it.
structure.
You see,
'Cause-
one of the thing is not even the Rastafari movements here in Jamaica is structured in the right way. Otherwise, they would have had some power within their hand.
mhm, mhm.
So that is one of the things. And the maroon, I think you have the biggest farm of the maroon area in Jamaica, and we are not structured as it either.
Mhm. You said which ones aren't structured?
Both the Rastafari movements and
Uh
the
huh.
maroon movement, they're pulling apart.
Oh, they're falling apart, pulling apart. Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
It is
Maybe.
why
Yeah.
the colonial master still does have a hold over us here.
hmm Mm. So I was. Mm, I understand why. I understand why. Because if the majority of the Caribbean is two islands, and that means if maybe Jamaica and Barbados or Saint Lucia or some of the islands can start to getting together. You only need to organize the smaller islands, Jamaica and Barbados or Trinidad. If Jamaica could get connected to some islands, that means you just have to worry
Jamaica,
about. Yeah.
Jamaica has been connected with majority of the islands, you know, because Jamaica is really the island that is in the forefront here in the Caribbean.
Hmm.
Then you have Trinidad and Barbados, really mainly the strong islands that really push forward.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was saying. I think why there's so much propaganda because from the you have the UNIA, the mass meetings the Garvey did. You have the some of the embassies from Africa are right there in Jamaica. You have the Maroon meeting. Somebody could copy the somebody needs to copy those models in Jamaica to Barbados and to Trinidad to the Eastern Caribbean, and then we have a meeting, have a movement. Marcus Garvey connected the islands under one organization. So I think that's what they're scared of right now. Cause right,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's what they're scared of, and they're trying to invade Haiti and cut off Cuba before it happens. But Africa, you just saw a lot of marching with the Caribbean. We're trying to see if we could carry that momentum to if we have,
you see
yeah,
when Haiti was the first free black um
empire.
empire here in the Caribbean, Jamaica it was a person from Jamaica here named Bookman who went
Dutty
there to organize that, you know.
Dutty Bookman, yeah,
Yes, he was here from Jamaica who went and organized that.
exactly.
So that is why Jamaica is being holding away by the colonial masters, and they keep some puppet persons here running the island in parliament.
Yep. So that's what I was thinking. But I know it's easier to do it on paper, but because everybody's going to fight over leadership. But I was thinking if there's the different islands or ethnic groups, or the like I know there's a lot of organizations from I don't know if you can get the embassies to help, but I know there's Igbo associations in Jamaica, the immigrants, where
Mm-hmm.
they have a structure where they can plug it into every parish or down to the village. And if we say it's UNIA, then it's something that the government has to look at because it's a national hero. If it's in the local community and something positive being done and it's called UNIA, then the colonial masters won't be able to touch it. Especially
Yeah,
if we're connected to the Sahel Alliance. I don't know if
that's
a lot of
what I
people.
want to
Yeah.
have happen. Yeah, I want to have that happen at the moment. And so this is the contacts of the Igbo persons here. If we could get a link with those, then I'll try my best to see how we can begin faster in a unified movement.
Mhm. We can arrange that because what it is a lot of people don't communicate it, but there's some Igbo, I think, millionaires. They came to UWI. Um, they work with the Mayal. They work with some of the Maroon. I think it was Charles Town. I'm not. They work with some of the
Yes,
Maroon. Yeah,
Charleston Maroon, yeah.
they did a festival last year, and they got into UWI and they got into Liberty Hall, and people don't know about it.
Hmm.
So that's what the international powers are looking at. Even Igbo land is. Let me put it like this: Africa has the Niger River, the Nile River, and the Congo River, and Igbo land is in the middle of all those people that were running around Africa and have the mineral
Yeah,
resources under their feet.
yeah,
So they sometimes they don't know why the United Nations visits them. But you're right in the middle of Africa, just like you're right next to Congo and the Niger
right.
River and the transatlantic diaspora and the Nile River is right there in your country. So the Nile extends to Nigeria. People don't know that. Nigerian Chad,
Yeah.
the Nile
Okay.
community. Yeah, we have the Nilo-Saharan people, the Kanuri people. They're all the way to Sudan. A lot of people don't know they erase history in Nigeria for that reason. They don't want people
Yeah,
the
yeah,
colonial masters. So if we
yeah,
have the size of Haiti and Cuba, if we just have Jamaica meetings in every parish, or the three county system, if it's maroons or non-maroons, if we just have the meeting, it could go viral because the Sahel Alliance is ready to work with people. The Igbo have this connection to Congo and East Africa, the Bantu tribes. We're trying to get South Africa, but South Africa uh, was a
yeah,
federal. South Africa used to have their own independent black communities, but
yes,
the way the colonial masters did it, they took away the resources and made the land so small that people. It's like they don't want to have tribal kingdoms anymore because the last experience they had, the colonial masters hurt them so bad that maybe some of them are scared to
yeah,
be independent.
yes. That is what is happening worldwide. Because I've been saying it to some of my fellow men out here in Jamaica is that they're so afraid to let go after the colonial master, bro. Because I'm afraid say him gonna do certain things too. No? If others in the past had not fought and lose their life, we wouldn't be where we are today in a better position to move forward.
Hmm.
So don't be scared.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because someone must be able to carry on the button Marcus Garvey has done and put this blueprint in place, or
Hmm.
blackprint in place. Why are we afraid to carry it forward? Malcolm X has done his amount along the way. We have it a little
Yeah.
more easier now to make it work better.
I've been studying this for since I was born because we had a traditional association based on where we're from. Uh, the,
Yeah.
I'm from a clan of Igbos that they created a federation in 1941 of five villages. So we're
Yeah.
like a United Nations in ourselves, and we just added. I'm saying we could add more villages. So to add Jamaica, it would be very good. Or if you guys have a parish club, I know the West is. I know that that's something that the Western
I'm part
oppression,
of an organization.
yeah.
I'm part of an organization known as the Nyanke Pong Maroon.
Okay,
No,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nyanke Pong Maroon. They are structured to an extent. Our constitution that is been signed by some of the justices of the peace here in North Republic and so forth. And I think also the constitution has been ratified maybe by the UN. Now, a link up could make with them and see how best works could begin happening there.
Hmm.
Mm.
Because of the size of those two islands, Cuba and Haiti, I have to talk to them because I think I have a connection through Grenada to Cuba, and Grenada has the Maroon connection, and they want you know about Maurice Bishop and what they went through to promote the
Yeah,
African.
yeah. One
They,
of
they
our great leaders they
yeah,
destroy.
they had the
Yeah.
Ujamaa village system and the village meetings. They want the village meeting really. They show that they want the village African system bad. So I reached out to some of them, and I know they have connection to Cuba. I reached out to Saint Kitts and Nevis, and they're
Mm-hmm.
the Eastern Caribbean system. So I kind of have to report to them because
Yeah.
and some other islands, U.S. Virgin Islands here, and I'm
Mm.
talking to some Haitian people or Haitian queen who wants to restore the empire. So
Yeah.
I created this group to try to reach how would you say the village
More
council,
and more.
Jamaica,
Yeah.
Trinidad, and Barbados, because
Yes.
there's a relationship between Jamaica, Trinidad, and Barbados where
Yeah.
if everybody just agreed that we're going to be this one organization, UNIA or village councils, then the rest of the region could benefit from it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
all those three islands are not part of the Eastern Caribbean states. And
Yes.
CARICOM is not even based in the islands. It's based in South America.
Well, when we talk about CARICOM, we know it as a name, but not as a unit that is actually
Exactly. So
working.
so
Yeah.
Jamaica, Trinidad, and Barbados, they're not part of any functional organization.
They are not part of the Igbo thing as yet.
The Igbo connection. Well, there's an Igbo connection in Jamaica and Barbados.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm not sure about their consciousness where they understand the importance of working together because
Yeah, okay.
a lot of them they don't understand that the United Nations comes to them because they're so important.
Yes.
They go to the United
Yeah.
Nations and beg, and they don't know that they're connected to the Congo and the trillions of dollars. They
Yes.
don't that people want to. They don't understand people want to join them, and they go asking the United
Yes.
Nations for help. Who are the Berlin conference people who cut them up in the first place? So,
I know that as assisting maybe Rao, she could be the one who had put me onto this organization.
uh-huh.
Yeah, because it's you have a sister in another organization which you're a part of, which I think has the same name, same Ibu. And
Igbo.
she's the one who put me onto the
Uh,
platform. I get
okay,
me being a part of the platform. So I'm really new to what is happening here and
okay.
listening to what you're saying. I want more information so that I can know see how best I can help to move the organization and the movements forward here in
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Okay, this brother, one of the brothers I'm talking to, his movement is called Unify Igbos Now. He's coming from
Mm-hmm.
the Igbo states of the Nigerian Federation. So he's coming from the eastern part of the federation, and
Yeah.
they have autonomous communities which can make a partnership in kingdoms that could partner
Mm-hmm.
with if it's a village or a parish institution or
Uh-huh.
a maroon council, they could partner with it. I know there's been maroon councils. There's some maroon partnerships with Igbo land already. He doesn't speak with. Sometimes the leadership in Igbo land don't speak with each other. So,
Yeah.
there-
I know, I know.
so
We have that problem all over
yeah,
with our race, brother. Don't
yeah.
know why, you know.
So from Jamaica, there's a Nigerian high. The thing with the Nigerian Nigeria is a federation, so it's basically a combination of countries and kingdoms and nations.
Yeah.
So in saying that, they also have a embassy in Kingston.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
They have an embassy in Kingston, but that embassy covers Haiti and Belize and Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
So the idea of hey, we have kingdoms and villages in all those countries, the Caribbean and Nigeria. Let's all sign a deal and spread it to each of those countries. So
Yeah.
let's take advantage of the embassy, even though if there's neo-colonialism, let's break through it. If we have to march
Yeah.
on it, let's make one real big federation. so
Right. That is what we really want to do. And
so
as I say, even though they might not be fully on board with what you're dealing with, utilize what we can going through
mhm,
them.
mhm. Exactly.
Mm.
That's their job. They can't really hide. They can't hide forever. If the
No.
so if we're doing the projects and we're saying, hey, uh, you're doing a good job, then they have to come out, or people are going to march and raise ruckus.
Yeah.
So Jamaica is I want to I have somebody who in St. Kitts. He's from St. Kitts. He's in California, but he wants to hear from everybody. He's been helping me. There's an Igbo land man who wants to help. And Jamaica, if we just keep communicating, it could be a big network of assemblies. Big network. I
Yeah,
don't.
man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Because Jamaica is one of the islands that majority of the persons in Africa and also the Caribbean and even around the world look to.
So my thing is everything costs money. I think maybe because or
Yeah,
resources. So how
yeah,
if we want to have a meeting in a village or a parish and people have to be fed and the traditional thing people have to break bread. What is do you think the cost of let's say a Garveyite meeting is in Jamaica? Like what would we have to do? We'd have to raise funds to support it.
yeah. We would have to raise funds to rent the place
Mhm.
and provide
Refreshment.
food, yes, refreshments, as you would say, and whatsoever documents we would want to have there, leaflets, agendas,
Mhm.
yeah, all
So,
those things.
so the woman that I spoke with, how would she say? I just spoke with a woman from Suriname. She said she wanted to do the same thing in New York.
Uh-huh.
And Suriname is they call it one of the three Guyanas. So French
Hmm.
Guiana, the British Guiana, we all know, and Suriname is Dutch Guiana. So all the colonizers split those three areas up. So
Yeah,
to work with them and discuss, the discussion would evolve to joining Africa, whether it's at the village level or the country level,
yeah, yeah.
signing those documents of unity and development.
Yeah. Is there still any way we could use, like, whether it want be one of the social medium area, say for instance Google Meet or any one of those Zoom, to possible do one of those meetings where persons can meet online, we speak, then we begin looking at doing individual territories or countries.
Uh, I'm open to Google Meet. I haven't. I can only speak for myself. I wanted a group. I wanted a big group meeting, but I think I can figure out Google Meet. I can figure out Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
WhatsApp is usually what people pick up on. But to have Jamaica, to have you in the call to represent Jamaica, I don't know how many people you have in your network. Um, which parish are you operating out of?
I operate mostly from St. Catherine.
St. Catherine's.
Yeah, St. Catherine is almost, you say, the middle of the island.
Okay. And I know I don't know. I've spoken in the past with Trelawney Town,
Mm-hmm.
and I've heard of. I think I forget which one. I think Moortown has a partnership. I think that's Colonel Sterling.
Yes, Sterling, yeah.
He has a partnership with Igbo leadership for years, and one of the issues that things have to be financed. So I have to talk to people about here starting computer classes. I've been saying
Yeah.
that for years, and we have to execute it where we start the computer classes where we can make
Mm-hmm.
money, we can have a passport, and we can travel overnight if we need to do it.
Yeah.
Without that computer classes and the finance that comes in fast, all this will just
Mm-hmm.
take years, and people will get real tired. Yeah, because
Yes, that is true.
yeah, finance. So we're this plan really hinges on computer classes starting in the USA, and then people traveling and being able to travel at overnight if they need to, at a drop
Yeah.
of a dime, and
Yeah.
buy computers and do it the same thing in the Caribbean. That has to be a goal because we're not going to get any finances from the government. We're
No,
not.
no. So
It-
what we
not
what we will have to do is put together an account which covers with a few trusted persons, which cover certain things now. So we can say, well, all right, we're going to be funding 2, 3 persons from this area, that area, and so forth.
Mhm.
So and see how best we can get that funding maybe from the motherland.
Uh-huh. Their motherland is asking for funding. That's why I'm like, man, everybody. If I can't let money stop me, so if I need money, I'm gonna set it up program where I get the money. Cause nothing can
Yeah,
stop this. Nothing can stop this. Nothing. If it need
nothing
money,
isn't supposed
no,
to. Yeah,
no. And the thing that scares the enemy is some of the things that Garvey had to deal with. He doesn't have to deal with it today. For example, when Marcus Garvey came to the USA, he had to incorporate uh, the organization or the empire as a
yeah,
company. But
yes,
nowadays, we all know that a lot of these countries are incorporated. There's a how would you say in Jamaica? There's a municipality corporation.
yes,
So every municipality, if you're operating Garveyite activities there, you don't have to incorporate certain things. For example, let's say there's someone with $200. They do a party and they say
yeah,
UNIA
yeah,
memorial meeting in St.
uh-huh.
Catharines. UNIA memorial meeting St. Catharines, and the different
Yes,
communities come out, and then they do it in how would you say St. Anne's Bay. And then
yes,
keep on doing it. And that's the new UNIA. And the government come out, the different governments come out, the different communities come out, and they say, "Oh, this is a cultural thing." And if we could spread that from parish to parish,
yeah.
it could be a model that could go to all the parishes
Uh,
across the
what
Caribbean.
you're saying, what you're saying shouldn't be something that is just being said to be organized. It should have been here long time ago,
Man,
because the
you know what's going
UNIA
on. You know
branch
what's
is
going
here.
on. Politics.
Yes, man, the UNIA branch is here, and even the Marcus Garvey party and those Garveyites, I keep asking them, say, why you not say you're not Garveyite? I want to not playing the part of doing the things that Marcus Garvey. Because where I am at this moment, is in St. Anne's Bay, it is within the walking distance from where Garvey has been. Right now, the Chinaman, they make a pass piece of land, which Marcus Garvey is them parents and sisters were on that land, and the Chinese people them take it over. The government give it to the Chinese people, and them and make housing scheme, and whatsoever. The Chinese
Disgusting.
people.
This is see.
Well,
This is
grieving, and so these are some of the things which, had we been standing together as Gaviite, don't think they couldn't take place, but nobody now do that. Here, so
what happened 7 years ago. Well, I've been writing down contacts since maybe 2000s. I've been writing down contacts for a long
yeah,
time. So I started spreading the Garveyite message overseas, and we found out you've heard of Kush. You-
yeah,
Kush, that's basically the Sahel. They call it the Sahel, or
yeah,
the Arabs call it Bilad al Sudan, but it's east to West Africa. They're one network of kingdoms for 1,000 years. So
yeah,
if I wanted to put a Garveyite message there, I put it there. So now we've been pumping. A lot of us been promoting it so long that now even the military are putting out slogans saying that they're Garveyites. If you then now some of the Garveyites are jealous and they don't want to talk about it, or they want to talk about it once and then take all the energy out the room. So now it's
you can
jealousy.
come.
It's jealousy at play now. They don't want to acknowledge any connection to the Sahel, or they don't want to acknowledge they're using Garveyism. So it's just
Yeah,
jealousy. It's jealousy at this point. If you Google AES or Sahel Alliance logo, you'll see that they say one destiny, one space, one people.
yeah.
It's the
That
Garveyite.
that is Total Alliance.
They're Garveyite Alliance. That's their slogan.
Okay.
One destiny, one space, one people.
Yeah.
That's one aim, one destiny, one God, one aim, one destiny. They remixed it.
Mm.
So nobody wants to talk about them. It's jealousy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Got you,
natural.
man. That is one of the things what happen. You know, you see, as soon as you start something and it begins to take traction,
Yeah.
becomes a momentum,
Hmm.
people begin to be jealous and want to even push you away to see if
Yeah.
they can take it on. And then what they are doing, you know, you see, you are not their thing. They won't go and take it on for just mash it up and drop it down in. Because them not have no interest in it. It's just that true it look like it have become something where it can give people a name. Them want to be a part of it. And then when them get it now, the interest win because them not really intend to do anything with it more than what them get out of it when them come find it.
Hmm.
And then drop it. Yeah, and them think that destroy most of what we have been doing.
We have they advertise just like any government. They have phone numbers to contact, and
Mm-hmm.
if but we have to. I have one contact. They said thank you because I gave them some information.
Yeah.
They're like the president. They're one of the top ministers. I got their number. They're doing a lot of
Yeah.
they're doing Afrocentric events, so they can attend our events if we have
Mm-hmm.
them. But it's just the people you expected to promote Garveyism now, just like any human beings, they're stumbling. They're capable of
Yeah.
stumbling.
Yeah.
So this was an
Yeah.
emergency meeting to keep the momentum going. I think it was
Yeah.
1 month now that the marches happened for the Sahel Alliance, and I don't want the energy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the energy to die down. So I'm making these calls to the Caribbean
Yeah.
because just like you have Nyanko Pong, we need ID systems. We because a lot of
Well, the Nyan Kepong basically their ID,
uh,
and what they are doing is doing over the birth certificate. They instead of birth registration, which is that we get to show when person's born, they are doing live birth registration certificate.
mhm. Well,
Yes, that's what Nyan Kepong is doing. Yeah.
that's what we need to discuss across the Caribbean because well, let me put it like this: Barbados. They say they never had Maroons in Barbados because of the terrain was very. It was there wasn't a lot of mountains and forests. They said, but
Mm-hmm.
the Barbados Maroons went to Jamaica and they joined them. They went to Martinique. They went to Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. So Barbados has a Maroon connection uh, where they should be participating in discussions.
Yeah, well, what I know, I'm not quite sure about Barbados Maroon coming here. I don't even know, but I know here in Jamaica where the Maroons have been, and I think the birthplace of Maroon. Why? And that is why the English had signed treaty with the Maroons here in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I know that some of the same freedom fighters here had left and gone across to Haiti and so forth. I'm not quite sure where they have ended up otherwise in the Caribbean. No, the information you are giving us could be right and good. And once it is so, these are the information we need to keep spreading amongst our race of people across the Caribbean so that we can see the connection.
Yeah, they call it maritime marronage. That was written down. I wasn't there, but they say that the Barbados, the ones who they escaped to other islands, so
Yes,
they're counted as they escaped to Jamaica, Martinique,
mhm,
and Saint Vincent and the Grenadines most famously. So that
right,
that is something that should be promoted if they're talking about independence and
right.
they created a maroon village. That's what they said. But
Yeah,
they didn't mention any of that in the research, or maybe they did. Maybe
no,
they didn't. Maybe they did. But I'm trying to increase. We need a UNIA movement across the Caribbean, especially these famous islands that we know: Jamaica, Barbados,
yeah,
Trinidad. We need some communication that will make getting Africa, the Sahel, getting Haiti on board easier. If we
Hey, Can we speak maybe a little further down in the evening? Because one of the things is we're out on the road and now I look transport and I know that I will break up as we go along in the transportation.
What I'm gonna do is we could close out the call, but I have someone in New York and someone from St. Kitts. They're in USA, but St. Kitts and Suriname they wanted to participate. So
Yeah,
what we can do, this will make everybody start talking and growing the platform
yeah,
more. Because
yes,
a lot of people that's the part of the solution, knowing that we need a Caribbean communication group, and that's what the UNIA did. So just
yes,
having regular meetings with Africa will
yeah.
give us energy. They will make the Caribbean meetings more popular, even if we have to
More
create a
frequent.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
If we have a different WhatsApp groups or a different platform, and people get resources and money transfers
If,
and
if,
yeah,
if we could have this group, if we could organize a meeting through this group, because sometimes the whole heap of groups but
yeah.
not really work out for the phone them we lock down when them have too much things for them.
If you send, can you send me your name when we hang up? I'll text you mine, but I don't know everybody's schedule or disposition. If they are
I'll send you my name and my number, my WhatsApp number and so forth. Yeah.
okay, I have your WhatsApp. Okay, I have your number, but yeah, we're looking for Garveyites to connect the parishes and the
You're
villages.
speaking to one. You're speaking to one.
Okay, brother. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
is there a lot in St. Catharines? I'm imagining.
St. Catherine adjacent to St. Andrew, that is going into Kingston area and so forth. But
Okay,
St. Andrew, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna close the call out, and we're gonna stay in contact. I had another call, and it's
Yeah,
two. So now I have two people now that from these
yeah,
calls. But I can
yeah,
keep. I don't know if you know people in this WhatsApp group, but I can keep it open. Um,
yeah,
if you want and make calls here, but occasionally. But I have other groups that I want to maybe add you to, so I have to think about it. 'Cause I don't want to waste people's time or your time. 'Cause I know if
yeah,
one Garveyite is organizing, and we're sharing resources, which is going to take it could take months for us to build resources to do an event. So I want to make sure that we're not wasting everybody's time, and because we have the idea, we raise the resources and we put it through, it can happen. That's what
yeah,
so I'm going to have to look at my resources and the ways to raise it. I've said
yeah,
computers and stock markets for a long time, so I'm giving my word that I'm going to follow up with calls and add you and the other sister to a group. I have to figure out what's the best group to do it. But a lot of people here, they have their own commitments. Maybe they don't want to pick up. So I don't want to force anything. But meeting you is good, and I think we can move from there. But I don't want to force anybody or have
yeah.
too many calls
I agree
chasing
with you,
people.
man. Yeah,
All
you
right.
just open the platform, whosoever will may come.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right.